But how can we talk about timeless games without talking about the game that's centered around time itself? Yes, I'm talking about Zelda Ocarina of Time. That game is still great. That game is still legendary. Hey man, everybody's got their gripes with Nintendo, but they sure do know how to make a game feel timeless. And they also know how to lock up that timeless game and make sure nobody's able to play it legally. Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to The Breast Show. Thank you for clicking on this video. Please hit that like button and subscribe button. It really helped the channel out a lot. And let's get straight to it. Hope you enjoy. Alright everybody, let's be honest. It's the dog days of summer, so ain't nothing really popping off in the gaming space right now. This is the perfect time of year to look back at the crazy year we had in gaming that was 2023. Or, you know, maybe it's just this year's version of Minecraft Week. But hold on a second though. What better time is there than to look at an older title that is still worth playing to this day and seeing what quality about it made it still worth playing to this day? It could be the art style of a Pokemon game, the storytelling and world building of an Arkham series game, or had a game with mechanics that were way ahead of its time, like with Skyrim or Mass Effect. Now, the word timeless is thrown around a lot, but not a lot of games, not a lot of media in general really get that distinction. What game, what book, whatever are you going to give to your kids' and it's still gonna be good? No, really. I really want to see what y'all have to say, because when people ask me about a timeless game, I think Super Mario, but not exactly the original Super Mario. If someone were to ask me about a timeless Mario game, the most timeless Mario game that I can think of is Super Mario for the Super Nintendo. Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo was peak 2D space for Mario. Yeah, sure, pixel art is timeless. Pixel art is timeless by nature. I mean, some of the newer games like Pokemon Black and White 2 or something like that may have, you know, mid animations for their pixel art, but still, pixel art without mid animations is still very viable to this day. Celeste, Octopath Traveler, Pokemon Black and White 2, some of the more modern pixel art games that we've seen. Of course, old pixel art like the original Super Mario Bros. Or the original Pokemon Red hasn't aged as well because of the lack of color and lack of bits, lack of pixels, I guess. But once you start to get around to that Final Fantasy VI, Chrono Trigger, Super Mario World for the SNES, that era of pixel art is when it really got mastered and it became timeless. I mean, I think it's clean as hell, not gonna lie. We even see games like Super Mario Maker or in the Super Mario Kaizo hacks that people be playing, they use the original Super Mario World as a base for their game, mostly because of, you know, the power-ups, the mechanics that were added to that game during the Super Mario World era, but also just because the art holds up on its own. What, 25 years later? I mean, that's pretty impressive if you were to ask me. Now, traveling to the other side of the virtual 16-bit Olympic arena is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, this game has proven itself to be timeless over and over again. We've seen references, we've seen remakes, we've seen a lack of deviation for anything else, really. Ever since Sonic the Hedgehog 2 came out, that's all Sega's been doing ever since. Not really, but Sega still leans into Sonic the Hedgehog 2 quite a lot. The remakes with Sonic Mania and the fact that Sonic Superstars is coming back and it is still in that same style of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. This time packed with even more characters than there was in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And one thing people forget about that game is that it's actually surprisingly challenging. The difficulty in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 versus a Super Mario Bros. Or something like that, I'd say the difficulty meter goes straight to Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is such a great pickup game that you can literally pick it up right now on the App Store, at least on the Apple App Store. In that game, there were so many options to complete a level, and collecting all of the rings to get a chance at collecting a Chaos Emerald always had a Dragon Ball level of mystique to it. I'm still kind of hot that Tails wasn't a playable character, not gonna lie. Unless he was and I just never knew about it. But how can we talk about timeless games without talking about the game that's centered around time itself? Yes, I'm talking about Zelda Ocarina of Time. That game is still great, that game is still legendary. Yeah, sure, in the modern day, the open world in Ocarina of Time is not as up to date, and people would say that the open world in Ocarina of Time was empty, but also small at the same time, which is two things with open worlds that don't usually go together, but this was one of the first open worlds of its time, you have to remember that. There were two versions of it, the adult form of it, and then the child form of it, and then there was, like, you know, only 4 locations throughout the whole world. But if you don't exactly favor the open world, that is cool because the concept and the story is still A1. You can't overlook the significance this had in the Zelda meta and also in the real world. This game split the Zelda timeline into 3 different timelines: Fallen Hero, Adult, and Child. And somewhere the Hero of Time is in there. I forgot. It's a confusing timeline. This game felt like it had so many genres in one. There was even a horror section of the game. If you went to Kakariko Village as an adult, you had to go to Kakariko Village as an adult. But those things, though, I'm not gonna spoil it for you if you haven't played. If you haven't played this 20-year-old game. But there were some pretty scary parts in that. Definitely got me as a kid a few times. There was adventure, there was action, there was puzzle solving, there was dungeon crawling. So on the list of timeless video games, yeah, it makes it, and it's one of the most complete games on this list. Legend of Zelda wanted to enter into the 3D space, and they came in throwing haymakers. And also, by the way, the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake felt like it was deserved, and it felt like the remake actually did update the game, give new quality of life features, and it really refreshed everybody on a timeless game. Not every game that gets a remaster feels like it should have gotten a remaster. But Rockstar, I'm not letting you off the hook for what you did, because what you did was sinister. Even though you really didn't do anything, we were just suspecting and we suspected wrong, what you still did was sinister. Charging us damn near full price for a port of a game. And the port goes to the Switch nonetheless. But the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remaster did just enough to keep the game timeless and in that great position for new players to play, because they just added quality of life things, You were able to quickly switch out the heavy boots, or they just added color-coded rooms to the scariest temple in the game, the Water Temple. Now that we're getting onto the 4th installment of this list, I'm beginning to notice a little bit of a trend. With Nintendo titles, because Pokemon Fire Red was legitimately my 4th pick for another timeless game. Fire Red specifically. Hey man, everybody's got their gripes with Nintendo, but they sure do know how to make a game feel timeless. And they also know how to lock up that timeless game and make sure nobody's able to play it legally. So everybody already knows how I feel about pixel art, and this arguably may be the peak 2D space for Pokemon, which is saying a lot when games like Pokemon Black and White and Black and White 2 have been out. But Pokemon Fire Red is a must play because it just updates the game that everybody went crazy for back in the 90s, Pokemon Red, and it literally updates it. And Pokemon Fire Red was one of the first Pokemon games that Game Freak decided to update after changing it up every once in a while. We've seen it, recently with Pokemon Brilliant Diamond or Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. But Pokemon Red started that chain, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for the rest of the series, it was a great thing for Pokemon Fire Red. The old Game Boy Color and the old Game Boy Pokemon games, Pokemon Red, Pokemon Crystal, Pokemon Yellow, all those games are timeless, yes. But if you were to go back and play those games, the color palette or lack thereof is undoubtedly noticeable, I should say. So I guess that kind of takes it out of the running of being a super timeless game. It's still timeless, but it's like, if we're talking about the most timeless game in the Pokemon franchise, I would definitely have to choose Pokemon Fire Red for obvious reasons. It's literally just a better version of what everybody loves. Okay, now we're leaving the Nintendo space. No more Nintendo games, unless you count, no, that's not a Nintendo game at all. No more Nintendo games. These games have been resold and repackaged for the last 3 generations of consoles and is getting a Switch port later on this year. No, I'm not talking about GTA, I'm talking about Batman Arkham Knights. That's 3 generations of consoles, probably 3 generations of children playing Batman Arkham Knights. Blackman. David Blackman. By the way, a console's lifespan is usually 7 to 10 years. And this was on 3 consoles. If you got $20, just go ahead and buy the whole trilogy. I mean, they basically give it out for free every once in a while. I remember as a kid watching old YouTubers like Chris Smooth play this game, and then after I got, I think it was the Xbox One, I decided to get it for myself because it was $20 back then and it's $20 now. It's a great experience. Rocksteady really killed it with this one. It's a timeless game. I don't know how to explain it. It's a timeless game. The combat system never gets old. The story of Batman hasn't gotten old since it came around in, the 1930s. The voice acting holds up really well, and the best character in the Batman series, the Batman Arkham series, as with any good Batman story, is the Joker, even posthumously. So yeah, Batman Arkham Knights is definitely a timeless game. Just don't do the Riddler trophy thing. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Just watch just watch a YouTube video on it. With the Batman Arkham series of games, Rocksteady really pushed the envelope on storytelling in video games in general, which is hard to do because when the Batman Arkham series first came out, storytelling in video games was still in its baby steps. The Batman Arkham games did a lot for superhero video games in general. Usually, in a perfect world, playing a superhero video game should make you feel like that superhero, but as we've seen with a lot of, trash NES games in the era that came before Batman, Spider-Man, NES, I'm looking at you, it doesn't always feel that way. But Batman did that and served as the blueprint for superhero video games in the future. We've seen the combat system in Gotham Knights, we've seen the same combat system, the same story type of thing in Insomniac Spider-Man, and most likely we're gonna see it again with the new Wolverine game that hasn't had any news about it at all, but I'm still super excited for it. But this last game that was really timeless, I had to choose it wisely. I had to choose it very wisely because there are 6 main story installments, but I only had to choose one, and I was gonna say Street Fighter 2, but really the more timeless of that is Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter 2 is a timeless game. Yes, we've seen it in every arcade. We should see it in every. You can't own an arcade without having Street Fighter 4 and Street Fighter 2 in there. But Street Fighters don't really come around that often, and Street Fighter 4 serves as the blueprint for future Street Fighters in the series. If you look at Street Fighter 6 right now, it looks nothing like Street Fighter 2 used to look back in the day. And there's a reason for that. Video games have just modernized, and Street Fighter has modernized with it, starting with 4. I chose Street Fighter 4 because it set the foundations of modern, no pun intended, competitive Street Fighter. Albeit Street Fighter 2 is still pretty competitive. But with Street Fighter 4, the combinations changed up. The storytelling changed up. And by the way, it is so rare to come out with a timeless game. So big shout outs to Nintendo, of course, but big shout outs to Capcom because they also come out with a lot of timeless games. They did it with every single Street Fighter. Resident Evil 2, 3, and 4. Mega Man 2, Mega Man 11, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Can't have an arcade without that one either. So of course Nintendo has their classics, Sega has their classics, but we cannot sleep on Capcom, and I'm sure I'm missing some. If I'm missing some, just let me know because I know that there's a lot. But that's really all that I have for this video because I haven't even gotten to all of the other games like Skyrim or CSGO. CSGO is about to get a sequel sometime. I heard a lot of rumors about when it's supposed to come, but I don't know when it's supposed to come, but CSGO is getting a sequel. I don't know how that's going to make people feel who spent a lot of money on the skins market, but it's getting a sequel. So yeah, all 6 of those video games that I chose, I think they really age well. If you have some more videos, we might be able to do it. We probably will be able to do a part 2. I just don't know when that part 2 is supposed to come up because this fall is coming up and this fall is packed. Like the rest of this year was packed. After the dog days of summer, MK1 comes out, Starfield comes out, Spider-Man comes out, Super Mario RPG, Super Mario Wonder, Sonic Superstars, and that's just in the last 4 months of the year. So save your money, kids, because it's about to get tight. I think Super Mario Wonder and Spider-Man 2 actually come out on the same day. Nintendo's always pulling that shady stuff. Spider-Man 2 got snaked in 2018. This was supposed to be their year, and Nintendo comes out with its second most anticipated game of 2023. Give me a break. But yeah, that is the Bread Show. Thank you for staying this long. If you stay this long, you are guaranteed to like all of my other content. I have a lot of content just like this right here, and I'm super glad to be getting back to these videos because it's been a while. I took a break, then I released the animation. I didn't really take a break. I was just working on the animation a lot, but yeah, the animation's out. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's a great story about the fact that I have a lot of allergies. It should be the video that I posted before this one, if my scheduling is on par. But yeah, please like, please comment, please subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot. You know what I mean? We're trying to grow. We're trying to grow. All 2023, all 2024, and got some big plans, but I can't do it without y'all. To everybody who does watch these videos and does watch these videos over and over again, I gotta say thank you. I mean, I gotta say thank you to you guys because you guys have been dropping super, what do you call super what? Super, oh yeah, super recommendations. And yeah, I'm just having a lot of fun with it. As much fun as I had in the beginning, and I'm having, even much more fun now. So yeah, spread love, give inspiration in all you do, and peace out.
Welcome to the Bread Show. Take 2. Let's get down. Let's get down to business.
Double dribble. All right, ready to record now.